Thank you for tuning in to Graps TV in this week's edition of Fire Stories. I'm your host, the Matty Man. Fire Stories is one of those shows where we discuss what I consider to be the angle of the week so far. And so far, at the end of this week, I do realize that Roman Reigns made a return to SmackDown. I do realize that Roman Reigns is back in play. But for week number 2, a new, fresh, and exciting angle that we all have to appreciate is Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio caught in the middle. That's right, that's this week's edition of Fire Stories. So let's go into detail here. Back in 2023, Liv Morgan was injured in an angle to have her shoulder repaired or whatever. At this point in time, I don't like to talk about people's surgeries for the same reason I don't talk about my own. I've had probably 100 of them. No, I'm not exaggerating. And no, it's not something I like to highlight, talk about, or anything, because I doubt any of these folks have had anything I haven't had. And none of it is pleasurable, none of it is fun, all of it is the cost of doing business, and I can definitely appreciate that and respect both ladies who've both been injured in a way that, honestly, I didn't think Rhea Ripley was going to come back this soon. I really didn't. I've had 2 shoulder operations done in the last year. Both of them were pretty damn crippling. Of course, I'm not an athlete anymore, but still, they took longer to recover from than other ones, so I don't wish that on anybody. But here we are. Liv makes her return, and so on and so forth, and starts getting involved in the women's world title picture. And it starts with an injury literally out of the blue, where Liv manages to kayfabe injure Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley needed some work on her shoulder. The following week, Rhea Ripley lays the title down in the middle of the ring, obviously in tears, and I don't blame her, because she had to break the ceiling to get that title. I don't blame her. I would have cried too. She broke a ceiling that nobody breaks in WWE. So I'm thoroughly happy for her and very excited. She puts the title down. Liv jumps into the Battle Royal. She doesn't win. And Becky Lynch wins the title. And somewhere down the road there, the following week, Liv Morgan winds up in a match with Becky Lynch for the world title. Dominic comes down to ringside and is apparently trying to help Becky, but inadvertently helps Liv. Makes for funny stuff. Liv wins the title. The following week, Liv starts kind of hitting on Dominic and so on and so forth. Actually, she's hitting on him in between time, too. She's really working it hard. The following week, Zelina Vega challenges Liv Morgan for the title. Dominic shows back up again, slides the chair on through there. And Liv uses the chair to defeat Zelina Vega. So we had 2 weeks in a row of that, and you're starting to kind of feel it a little bit. So Dominic's nothing but a screw up in the middle of all this thing. Rhea Ripley comes back. In the meanwhile, Liv has been aggressively pursuing Dom, liking all his posts, went to social media, the whole 9 yards, started doing social media posts. Then we get to WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley makes her triumphant return and scares the living bejesus out of Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's running all over the place. Dominic Mysterio's trying to make amends, the whole 9 yards. Takes a little while, flowers, whole 9 yards. And Rhea accepts him back, and we're set up for WrestleMania in a way that you don't see it coming. I mean, Liv Morgan's standing up in the crowd. Dominic Mysterio basically tells her to fuck off. She goes out crying, and the creative on this is absolutely fantastic. I can't even, ugh. They're actually putting effort into this story and it shows. So, we get to WrestleMania and I'm going to tell you right now, Rhea, if that really had happened, it was good work, by the way. The shoulder thing was a great work. Slamming yourself into the table, that was just dramatic. Loved it. Absolutely couldn't get enough of it. And then we have Rhea Ripley getting ready to hit Liv Morgan with a chair. Dom takes the chair out of her hand and says, no, you can't win the title like this. He gets her collected back, the whole 9 yards. Then he slides the table back in, or slides the chair back in, distracts the referee. Liv Morgan hits Rhea Ripley on the table, retains her title, scurries out of the ring. Boom. Dominic puts that big ass kiss on her. And that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. We're at Judgment Day 3.0 now. I think this is the third rendition of the Judgment Day. And Liv Morgan is now in the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest are on the outside looking in. The Damian Priest side of this angle deserves to be investigated as well. And I'll do that on another story here because that's kind of like a side angle for me. But at the end of the day, Liv Morgan has the title, Dom, and Judgment Day. So where are we at with the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour? And now, do we have a Rhea Ripley, I'm going to kick your ass and bury you tour? That's the question on my mind. The Terror Twins. The way that I determine whether or not an angle is an angle of the week, because I know I'm going to catch hell about not highlighting Roman Reigns' return. The Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley angle has moved the needle. It has created two new, clearly defined roles, and a third one with a romantic triangle, which I'm still convinced comes out in a pay-per-view with Dom going back to Rhea because, let's face it, that's where he started, that's who helped him. Even though he got the win over Rey Mysterio when he was tag teaming with Liv Morgan, I don't think that's good enough. I don't. That's just an opinion, by the way, guys. But the reason that I chose this one over Roman Reigns is really simple. Roman Reigns just got back. He'll probably be the angle of the week, if not next week, the week thereafter. But there really hasn't been a needle moved yet. There's been a couple of altercations, but Solo Sikoa still has the follow whatever that thing is. He still has the pepper necklace, okay? I know there's a word for it. It starts with follow something, but he's still got the pepper necklace. Roman Reigns got a little bit of his own energy out of himself for that segment, but it hasn't really moved the needle. We still have Bloodline Temu version. We don't have a clear destination yet as to how Roman's going to build his bloodline. Now, we can all think that Jay and Jimmy and Sammy are coming back, but I'm not seeing that just yet. I may be wrong on that. I have been wrong on WWE angles in the past. But I don't see Zilla and I don't see the other ones that I'm projecting to be there yet. So Roman really doesn't have anything. He's a man all by himself. We haven't seen Paul Heyman. We haven't seen any of that yet. Meanwhile, we now have Bloodline 3.0 with Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Carlito. And we have the Terror Twins. So we clearly have, out of this feud, so far, we have two new factions. which I'm calling the Terror Twins a new faction, because obviously they're going to need more bodies as we get ready for War Games, and that's where I see this thing going. Now, the question is, what happens at War Games? Or whatever they're going to call it this year. Does Liv have enough of that thing, whatever it is, to hang on to Dominic? Or does Dominic have regrets and go back to Rhea? That's why this is the angle of the week. It will probably be the angle of the week next week too. Because it's really developing, it's creating new lines of business. So far, all we've gotten out of Roman Reigns is a t-shirt. That's a fact. Once you get past the, oh my God, he's finally back after 4 months, you got a t-shirt out of it. With Liv and Rhea, we have two factions. Dominic is over there with Liv. Rhea is like heartbroken. How that's possible, I don't know. And we got Damian Priest out there, so that's why this is the angle of the week. So what I'd like for you to do is like, comment, and share. And in the comments, I'd like for you to let me know what you think about my angle of the week. In the comments section, we look forward to hearing from you next week. I'll read some of the comments live on the next show. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.